What do you do when you're talking to a buyer and you're not really getting anywhere? This is sales for nice people. You may have been in situations where you're talking to a buyer, maybe it's your first, your second conversation, and it's going all right, but you're not advancing. There is no decision on the horizon, there's no clarity that they need to make a decision, and you don't know really where to go, and time is running out. Now, the one thing that you should not do is the thing that a lot of salespeople do, a lot of sellers, and that is to try and lean in and try and explain harder and reason better and effectively making the buyer wrong. Oh no, you're not getting it. Let me explain better. No, don't do that. You want to spend more time listening than talking because you have two ears and one mouth and you should use them in that proportion, especially when you're talking to a buyer. But even that, listening might not be enough. So when you're in a situation and you're unable to make the process work, you're unable to move the deal forward, and you're not able to get them to a decision, look for a pattern interrupt. Look for something that you can say that stops the conversation and creates a new conversation. So one of my favorite ways is when I feel that I'm not really getting anywhere with a buyer, I will say, I don't think I'm doing a very good job here. Now, that is a pattern interrupt because nobody expects a seller to say that. My buyer will then go, well, what do you mean? And then I say, well, my job here is to make sure that you reach a decision, whether it is to buy a solution from me or to not buy it. That is not my problem, but I cannot abide somebody having a problem and not being able to make a decision about that problem. Either you're going to choose to solve it or you're going to choose to live with it. But if you also have the mental load of trying to figure out whether or not to make a decision about this, well, then the problem is even bigger. I'm not here for that. I'm here to help you make a decision to either solve the problem or to not solve the problem. Does that make sense? Now, my buyer will always react in a positive way because I come out with an admission of perhaps not having done my job well, and that is disarming. It is also genuine because if I'm not able to get the sale to move forward, then I am not doing a good job. But it also helps reset the conversation and focus back on what is actually important here. And that is ultimately always for a buyer to make a decision. Yes, no, solve, don't solve, solve now, solve later, doesn't matter. But without a decision, life continues on as miserable as it is and has been for them. And making a decision to not solve it at least removes that load of trying to figure out whether or not we should solve this problem. So, to put all this in a very neat little box, when your process isn't working, when your conversation isn't moving forward, and you have the feeling that you're not really helping people, look for a pattern interrupt. Do not continue in the same dynamic. And for God's sake, don't start to talk more and faster and try to reason and argue better. That's not what they're there for, and it's not going to help you. It's not going to help them either. So when your sales conversation isn't going anywhere, look for a pattern interrupt, break the chain, and start a new conversation with your buyer. This is Sales for Nice People. Go to salesfornicepeople.com/sign up to get a short, helpful daily email, and I will see you again tomorrow.